Okay, this video is going to go over some basics of Geogebra, show you the environment of it, give you some names and some things to look for, and kind of get you going on the tools. And as we go through the class, you're going to learn the different tools and the logic behind them as we go. So right now, I just want to point out a couple things here. These are what are called toolboxes. Each toolbox has a different set of tools in them that are related. Like this is the point toolbox. So when you click this little down arrow here, you'll see some extra tools that have to do with points that come up here, like intersection, midpoint, new point. We use those quite a bit. You have the line toolbox. So every part of a line as well. So you got the whole line. You got a line segment. So just the line between 2 points. You can make a segment that has a fixed length. You can give the length of a segment. You can make a ray. Remember that rays in geometry are figures that start at a point like this and go off in a direction. So when we have a ray, you need a starting point and you need another point to show what direction it is. And we'll use rays quite a bit. We'll also use vectors in here. There's a couple other tools here that I haven't really used a whole lot. I have used this. Actually, the only one I haven't is polyline. Not sure exactly what that means, but interesting to see what it is. But the vector between 2 points, vector from point, and depending on what version of Geogebra you have, these tools might have a different name. I know one version just had line. I don't know if they fixed it, or I believe I'm up to date on my computer, but I'm not sure. So anyways, you have the line tool here. So let's say we want to make a line. Okay, I'm going to select my tool. So now I can see this blue border here. I know that that's the tool that's selected. So when you make a line, or even any tool, to know how to use it, if you don't know how to use it, like I'm not quite sure how to make a line, if you hover your mouse over, it'll tell you to select 2 points. So you can go point. So you just click on the screen somewhere to put a point, and then you put another point, and that second point will determine the line, right? Okay, so that's how we just put points on the screen here. We can just tap anywhere we want to. Okay, feel free to open up a Geogebra window and work alongside this video here, this Geogebra video, if you want, just to kind of mess around. But get a feel for Geogebra. Spend some good time here just dinking around. I mean, make designs if you want to, and see what you can do. But like I said, as we do these videos, we're going to keep using it. Okay. So, oh, and by the way, if you want to do that, watch the work along as you're watching this video. We can do the side-by-side on Windows 8, which is the same as in Windows 7. So notice this Geogebra window here, and let me open up another window. Let's say I want the internet up, okay, because you're watching YouTube right now. So I got these two things. I want Geogebra here, and I want my internet where, like, you know, YouTube or whatever is on. So every window has this top here that's kind of clear, right? And if you click on that, you can drag your window around, right? Click and hold the down on the screen here. Okay, but now if you slide it all the way, say, to the right or to the left, notice and let go, that now takes up half the screen. And Geogebra now, I'm going to pull up here and double click it to make it minimize. Now I'm going to click on that top bar too, and I'm going to slide all the way to the left and let go. So now I got my Geogebra window up, and you can have your video up too. And you can also, in between, change which one you want to be bigger or whatnot. Okay, so just some pointers as you watch this video. Alright, now there's some different windows in here. You have the algebra window and you have the graphics window. Algebra window tells us all the objects that we've created. Like right now we made a line, so we have a line. It has an equation to it. Okay, I'll show you how we get the grid up. And then the points that we have made. So pretty much every object that we make goes in the algebra window. And we can select objects too. 2 different ways. So I'm going to grab my move tool over here. I also call it the select tool. If you're a keyboard guy or person like myself, you can just hit escape on your keyboard and it clears anything. Notice right now my line is selected, and I can tell because I have that gray highlight bar around it. But if I hit escape, notice it goes away and it goes back to my move tool. So whenever you want the move tool, which allows you to select objects and move them around, just hit escape, or you can just come up here and click on this move tool. Okay, So the algebra window here has all our objects as we make them. If I want to do a circle, for example, here's the circle tool and all its circle stuff in its toolbox. But the circle tool, to use this thing, I'm going to hover back over it, and it says select center point, then point on circle. So I'm going to come over here, click, make a point, and notice it's now the center of my circle, and now Geogebra is just waiting for me to click again to make a point. Maybe I want B to be that point. Maybe I want A to be that point. If I click on B, now notice it's made a circle, and we have another section in the algebra window. It's called a conic section. Circles are what are called conic section, and it has an equation as well. Equations we use, in algebra. So in algebra, we want a coordinate grid or coordinate plane. Remember, planes are just two-dimensional spaces, pretty much. Okay, they're just flat, like the screen here that we're working on. So all these things that we're putting on a plane, points, lines, circles, are plane objects. Okay. All right. Okay, so in algebra concepts, we need on our blank plane here, we just have a white space. Whenever we have a blank plane, we're going to do geometric constructions to make sure that we guarantee object relationships like equal length or congruence, okay, and transformations. So this blank plane allows us to see the geometry and relationships of shapes and points and all the points that make up the shapes and all that good stuff. But when we talk algebra here, we want to see a coordinate plane. So now, this is our graphics window, this main window up here. Notice next to graphics we have this little arrow here. So if you click on it and it'll point down, you now have a couple options here. We can show our axes if we want. So now we have a coordinate plane, and now we can show the grid as well. So now this is very, now we have scale, right? So now we can actually put numbers to things, and that's the whole idea of algebra. And really the difference between geometry and algebra is just that. We have a plane, geometry to argue congruence and argue equal length and all sorts of good stuff. We have to know relationships, and that's what our constructions are going to do for us. Okay, and in algebra we want to be able to know how these lines are behaving because we have numbers to them, right? And we can put units to these numbers and whatnot. So that's how we are going to go through this year, just talking about the relationship between geometry and between algebra. Okay, so that's how we can show change the grid and stuff. Now, if I want to change objects, like make them different colors, stand out, like maybe this line right here, I want it to stand out. I want a different color too. Now that I have that down arrow selected, when I click on my line here, notice the line selected here. I could have clicked on this equation right here and it would have selected my line. Now look at what we have up here. We have the color options here. Maybe I want to make it red. This option here can change the style, and also we can change the slider here. We could change the diameter. We can make it a little thicker, right? Same goes for points. Maybe point A, for whatever reason, I want to click on A, and I want to change its properties. So I'm going to maybe change its color to green, and then I want to make it stand out as well. And notice in the points, we can make them different designs, okay? So I can make it a big point if I want to, and whatnot, okay? So that's how we can change things around. All right, so without making this video any longer, go ahead and just dink around, play with some colors, change the designs, get your grid up, mess around. If you want to move the grid around, let's say like this line, I want to know what's going out here, like over on this side of the line. So I need to move my grid. Two ways to go about that. This tool right here, Move Graphics View. If you click on that, and then you hold your pen down or hold the left mouse button down, you'll notice this little hand that I got here turns to a fist, and it's grabbing the screen, and you can drag the screen around. You can move the graphics, okay? Now the other way of going about it, if you like keyboard keys again, is if you hold the control button, you have your select tool, because we use this move or select tool all the time, so I always have this selected. But if I want to move the grid around without going to another tool, move it around, and then go back to this tool, all I have to do is hold the control button down on my keyboard, hold it down, and now as I move the mouse around, oops, and hold the left, so you're going to hold the control down, oops, hold the control down, and then you're going to hold your pen on your tablet, and you can then drag the graph around. And when you let go, you're still at your select tool. So quick little hint there. Alright guys, messing around here. The next video will show you the difference between construction and making objects look like they've been constructed. Alright? Enjoy guys. Have fun with Geogebra. We're going to get comfortable. Take some time with it because we're going to need to know this program. And those of you that had me last year, it's a good refresher. Alright, good luck guys.